I watched.
Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive, Andy. What a weird Sunday. I had a vibe of an any given Sunday, like any given Sunday, the Texans can beat the Jaguars. Any given Sunday, Bill Belichick can shut out Jared Goff. Any given Sunday, you could be waking up and realizing you need Skylar Thompson to somehow perform in order to cover for you.
Do you remember that song? Who sang the song for that? Was that the start of Jamie Foxx's singing career?
Oh yeah, sure. I think it probably was Jamie Foxx himself because he probably only agreed to do the movie. I bet if they let him sing a song.
I think
that's my read. Yeah. Anyway,
he was fine. He was fine in Gold Digger.
He was good.
Yeah, weird Sunday. Obviously started early. Packers. Stop me if you heard this one before. The Packers look good early.
That was any given Sunday. The Packers can lose in London to the fucking Giants.
There's been a couple of these. There's the Packers and the Titans have been very, very anti-scoring in the second half. In fact, the Titans have a win in a game they didn't score in the second half.
Amazing.
But the Raiders game, the Packers, I believe, maybe do two with the Tampa Bay game. I don't think they scored in the second half, and they ended up holding on for that win. So usually not what you want to do is not score in the second half. The Packers technically did with the safety, but too little too late. It's got a weird game. Major takeaways is just like Daniel Jones healthier than I thought he would be, honestly. He looked okay. Saquon was good. It just they did enough in the second half, and the Packers kind of got away from what worked in the first half. It seems like over half the targets were Cobb and Lazard. He's still not wanting to lean into these rookies, especially Watson, who's not only target share, but just snaps have gone way down.
Leave him in London.
Leave him in London, I guess.
Did he even go?
I don't know, like the big
dig.
A
vaccination status problem or something we didn't know about?
The big dig is like, the Giants are a bad 3-1 team. The Giants are a bad 2-1 team. Now this is going to be the Giants are a bad 4-1 team.
Correct.
Still a 4-1 team. Like it doesn't matter. You were still a 4-1 team. Yeah. Like when you have this much of a head start on some of the other teams in your division conference, like doesn't matter. Just get it done. Win ugly. Brad Gilbert. I don't know. Like if they start to get anything back at wide receiver, the Giants can absolutely be a middle of the pack wild card team. Like they don't have any. They don't really.
3 minutes and 30 seconds into the Week 5 recap pod, Dan. Write down.
Yeah,
this team sucks.
It does. But
all of my takeaways have nothing to do with the Giants. It is 100%. This is now the Vikings division to lose.
I know, no, for sure. The Vikings is I'm almost opposite on the Vikings too.
No, the Vikings are going to continue to lose ugly. I mean, win ugly.
Win ugly. That's what I'm saying.
No, they're not going to cover. They're going to win.
Here's the only takeaway on the Giants. The only takeaway in the Giants is the team sucks. The roster kind of sucks. They don't have any wide receivers.
They got their coach though.
But Dable is making decent second half adjustments. He's making chicken salad out of chicken shit, and they might win 8 or 9 games by accident, which is not where you want to be. Like
that's okay as long as they as long as they don't threaten the Eagles. And the Eagles, Sirianni is coach of the year because Dable is now all of a sudden in Sirianni's blind side for coach of the year. I don't love it, I mean. Congrats to the Giants for fighting. I'm sure the fans are excited, but the fans are going to be disappointed as we go further into the season because that team stinks. Although their schedule is easy, so they probably do get a wild card. Who knows? Daniel Jones starting a wild card game will be amazing. Hopefully it's on the road. Real quick before moving off, what is the angle you would be most excited to bet Daniel Jones and the Giants are on the road in the wild card round against who?
An NFL team?
The Niners? Like, what's
Yeah,
that?
I mean,
Like,
somebody experienced. Niners, even Vikings. I mean, any of those teams.
Just a quarterback who's won a couple.
Yeah, a quarterback and just a half decent team. So, yeah, I'm fine with it. We did not talk about the Thursday night game, nor will we. We did have the under. That was fine. But yeah, again,
that was the funniest primetime game we've had in a while.
It was a funny timeline.
I love it. When there is just absolute bullshit going on and the Twitter timeline is lighting up, I love it. Love it. I enjoyed that game tremendously.
It was a tremendous game. That leads us into the first one in the rotation from last week. Cleveland, LAC, both teams tried their very hardest to lose this game at the end, but Jacoby and Brissett just tried a little bit harder. And that was they were moving. Both teams moved the ball. And again, this was one we bet early. The market went with us, and then the market went heavily against us, all the way down to 47. I congratulate anyone who had the stones to buck the market, because, like, legitimately, I still haven't had someone come up with a good argument. They're like, well, Myles Garrett might play. Myles Garrett isn't worth, he isn't worth 2.5 points to the total. And when it comes down to it, this is the only thing I'll say on this. We said it doesn't matter if it's slower and it's less flashy than passing. These teams are good at running, and the defenses are really bad at stopping the run. They combined for 450 ground yards in this game. Wow. And that's a lot, right?
Wow. That is a shit ton.
Both teams had
especially
over 200 yards.
When you don't have mobile quarterbacks. If you have mobile quarterbacks, I'm less impressed.
Yeah, this isn't like, it wasn't like Lamar Jackson threw in 80 yards for you. I mean, it was a lot on the running back. So 450 rushing yards, the over
High
got
five
there.
to the overbackers. We got them. We got them, guys.
All right. Pittsburgh, Buffalo, not going to talk about a lot. Pickett, that's a rough place to start your first game, and then
almost feels like they should have had a different plan, right?
Yeah, they should have had a different plan. And then right off the bat, you get the early score, you get the early turnover on special teams. They actually stopped them from scoring on that drive, which was something. But yeah, I mean, this was light work for Buffalo. The 14 was never in doubt. It's a lot of points, but it was one-way traffic immediately. Josh Allen didn't even have to finish the game. 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Only threw the ball 31 times and ended up with 424 yards. And all things are, as far as, I say, like, it was bad deal for Pickett. Everything seems to be kind of breaking for Buffalo. If you throw out that Miami game, obviously that was not good for them. But even just for Josh Allen, like, hey, you got to play Pittsburgh. They kind of have a decent defense when you look at it in the schedule. You get here, and TJ Watt's nowhere to be found. Minka Fitzpatrick and Cameron Hayward are both dinged up, slightly injured, and you're able to just put it on them. So the gates are opening up for Josh Allen's big year.
Not sad about that. What do you want me to tell you? I mean, nuts on the table this week, though, and we'll get there. But it's fucking time. Beat the Chiefs, beat the boogeyman, for fucking crying out loud. I mean, I know they did it in the regular season last year, but this is at their house. This is the house of horrors. This is where you have, gone in and, had your nightmare last year in the playoffs. Like, this is it, buddy.
Yeah.
2 years in a row, your playoffs ended in this venue. Now you go in there and you get a win and exercise some demons. But yeah, Josh Allen MVP train continues to roll.
Vikings, Bears. It was similar to the Packers game, except the Vikings didn't boner it up in the end. I guess they looked.
They were trying.
They were trying really
as
good
always.
In the first half. Like,
as always,
Justin Jefferson, just a train. Delvin Cook had a really nice game. Yeah. They looked really good. Kirk Cousins looked really good in the first half, and then they just took the foot off the gas. Bears had a couple of things break their way. They moved the ball nicely. Josh Allen. Justin Fields had a couple of nice tuck the ball and run for a first down plays. He's very good. Like, we don't know if he's good as a passer because he hasn't had any receivers get any separation ever, but he's very good at deciding when to exit the pocket. He's showing some signs of some parts of maybe something down the road.
Let me push back a little on this. You said he's good at deciding when to exit the pocket. You think he actually has a choice in any of this?
That's fair. No, but I mean, on the He's good at doing it when he has to. He's good at
when he does
executing.
exit the pocket, he does good things. I completely
there we go.
go
that's
with you. Yeah.
that's probably a better way. But
yeah,
he's decent at it. And I'll let you.
I know
give
some.
me your take.
I know some players who had the stones to go to war with the Bears today. They were very patient all week and let this get to 7.5 before they fired, and that was a winning play. Well done to them, because the Bears actually had a lead late in this one. Obviously, you didn't ever really feel like the Vikings weren't going to find a way to win. But Vikings. This is who they are. They're going to win ugly.
Vikings
they're going to win. Missed 2 field goals. Yeah, the Vikings are going to win ugly. They're going to continue to do this. This is going to be a team that's in the mix for the 2 seed. Put it in pen. This should be your meaningful favorite right now to win the NFC North, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, at the same time, when I said I'd bet the Vikings over the or the Giants in the playoffs, maybe I pushed back on myself there, because the Vikings legitimately have beaten nobody. Like the Packers, seriously, the Packers
schedule. It is so fucking weak.
I know it's still soft going forward.
Schedule.
They might be a playoff fade because they'll win the division now.
I think you're right.
The Packers have been less than impressive altogether. And week 1, they didn't have anything for receivers yet. I mean, it was even worse. And then they almost lost to the Bears, almost lost to the Lions, had to come back in both of those games. They shouldn't have beat the Saints, if we're being honest. And then, 100%. I mean, they lost to the Eagles, which that was always going to be what happened there. So Vikings, not a great team, but they're, again, winning the games that they're supposed to, and they will probably win the division. Yep. I don't know what we do with that going forward. Detroit, New England. Zappy was okay. It's still a running team, but he's like Mac Jones 2.0.
I mean, you kind of keep going with him, right?
Why rush back?
Really and truly, I don't know what's lost. I mean, we talked about it last week. You were high on Zappy in the preseason. You have 100-1 on him, offensive rookie of the year. That's live in my mind.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick versus Jared Goff was ultimately the story here. Turns out Belichick does have a very good philosophy when it comes to how to make Jared Goff look absolutely horrific. And he exercised it today. No other real thoughts about this game. Poor Dan Campbell. Poor Lions. Actually, you know what? I do have one real thought about this game. At 1-4 now, the Dan Campbell shtick doesn't play as well. And that can be a problem. It is the stepbrothers. Did you fart? Now the tuxedos seem kind of fucked up. I can taste it. Onions and ketchup. Like that's where you're at with Dan Campbell. That's a perfect analogy. Perfect analogy.
We did say this too. They didn't crush it in the time of possession because they didn't have to with the score. But they said keep the ball out of Goff's hands, run the ball, just try to be semi-successful on offense, let the defense do whatever. And yeah, that's apparently that was a miss. I really liked Patriots too. I almost bet them. There was a couple today that I was
under was really, a no doubter. I played really low under at the end. I said it like 10 times all week when people asked me about that game. Like, oh, this is under. This is an under. This is an under. And I was like, fuck, I got to bet this under. So
how about the Rams game staying under? Like that was always the right call too.
Jesus Christ.
We'll get to that one in a sec.
Yeah.
I'm just going down the list in the way I wrote it. Seattle, New Orleans.
Keep going.
I didn't watch it.
I took an L here. One. I bet some Seattle. It was a loss, and I feel a little cheated.
Yeah, I wanted to make a case for Seattle back. I knew a bunch of smart people that took Seattle. I wanted to make a case for it being the right side, but in a game that's as ping-pongy as that, I don't know if there ever was a right side, man.
Well, taking the points was the right side. And honestly, like Seattle ran into the most dynamic player in NFL history, apparently, in Taysom Hill.
I've said this for years, though. Like, even when we were doing the bullshit and starting him at quarterback, like I said, didn't you see him last week when he was a tight end? People are terrified to tackle him.
Yes.
He's a menace in open space.
He is.
Because I'm like, don't kick him off the team. Put him in the slot.
It's weird that it took them 5 weeks to get here, but like they now know how to deploy him, and he is a very, very, very impressive weapon. Yeah, I thought Seattle was the right side, though, personally.
I think I'd lean that way, but man, that game was too wild for me to really give a
weird
hard
one.
take.
Although you know what, you if you kind of conclude that Seattle's defense is absolute dog shit, I'm not going to stop.
That's the hardest part about this. Like,
I'm not stopping you.
If you're letting Andy Dalton and Taysom Hill rack up 39 on you, are you ever the right side?
You conceded 40-something points to Jared Goff, who got shut out by Belichick and that Patriots defense.
Kind of a shit travel spot for him too, but at the same time, it was a lot of points.
They got Arizona next week at home. It's going to be a tough one to really make a side on, but I'm probably going to play Seattle.
Miami and the Jets will probably just gloss over that one. We bet Miami.
Oh boy!
I mean, sometimes you're on the right side of injury luck. Sometimes you're on the wrong side. We bet.
Did you know that Skylar Thompson was the backup to Bridgewater in that game?
I actually did.
Did you know that?
I did
know that?
I had to look up who he was, though. I don't watch much college football.
No, the Kansas State kid.
I had to go figure out who he was.
Oof, man.
He was okay. Like he was actually okay.
But the inexperience on like the fumble sack that set him up for the easy score that ultimately was the deciding score, I thought. And then they turned around. What was it? They didn't get the fourth down. They got aggressive and they lost 4 yards on the Mostert run. I mean, the injury just fucked things up so badly. I don't know that you can take a ton away from that game. Although if you want to criticize Miami's defense as being unprepared, by all means, go.
Yeah, no, they looked pretty bad against a subpar quarterback, a rookie running back who honestly I didn't think that highly of.
Did Wilson even have a good game in your mind?
No, it was just some longer short passes. I honestly didn't watch a ton of that second half. I was so disenchanted.
No, I honestly, I actually don't. I didn't watch a minute of it after Bridgewater went out. I was like, oh, it's over. All right, see ya.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look into his ADOT and see if it was just because like Breece Hall had 2 catches for 100 yards. I kind of feel like that wasn't Zach Wilson beating him over the top to a rookie running back. I'm guessing those were shorter average depth of target yak passes. We'll get into that.
Breece Hall's alive for the rookie of the year market, though, right?
I don't even think he's the best rookie on his team.
But he'll have the counting stats.
Yeah, we'll see. He still splits a little. He just had a big game. Like for sure. If you look at he had 18 carries to Michael Carter's 10.
I think
he had a better game, but he's
offensive rookie of the year in my mind.
I don't think the number is going to be very good after this week. He put up too big of a week for you to.
It'll be less than 8-1, because he's got 2 soft matchups the next 2 weeks. In fact, the Jets maybe.
We'll have to see where.
Are we gonna?
We'll have to see where the quarterback numbers are.
Are we gonna wake up in November and be talking about the Jets as a potential wild card? Because their next 2 weeks are winnable games. That would make them 5-2. That would make them 5-2 though if they actually take care of business. The Jaguars can't pull it off. What if the Jets do?
Maybe Saleh was the answer. We just arrived.
Saleh was the answer. Zach Wilson was the year 2 quarterback who took the step forward. It was the Jets staring us in the face the whole time. That doesn't feel right, but maybe.
Atlanta, Tampa Bay.
We got a freaking rotating cast of characters at tackle. I don't know.
So Tom Brady threw the ball 52 times.
Oh, is that right?
That seemed weird when I looked at it. I said, "What were they behind for big chunks of the game?" Because
no. It was 13-0.
Yeah, I know they weren't. Like
even
the stat line that Tom Brady had
didn't feel right there.
Yeah, the stat line that Tom Brady had is the stat line of somebody who was behind the entire game. 35 of 52. They ran a lot of plays. I mean, it was just an odd kind of lopsided game in that sense. I bet if I look at time of possession, it's pretty tilted in this one. The only thing we had here was the secret team. Honestly, the Falcons had the ball for more. This is they just ran a ton of plays. I will say we did get this home. We had the secret team total under 19.5. It was bet down to 17.5. Anything cash there. They ran 75 plays for 420 yards. Probably should have scored a little more, but such is life. Didn't
they kneeled out the clock inside the 20, which is the classic Tampa stuff, right? Like that's classic.
Yeah, that's a good way to not score.
Like they put together a long drive that ate the last 5 minutes of the clock, I think. But they needed to do that because their defense kind of gave up some garbage time, which is
Atlanta covered.
Atlanta covered. They're 5-0 now against the spread. How about that? Your Atlanta Falcons.
Undefeated.
You know what? Water finds its level, Andy. After years and years and years of not covering when they should, the Atlanta Falcons are finally covering. Tampa probably deserved the cover.
Does Tampa have the clutch gene? Is that what? No.
But Tampa does have a whiff of a team that still is being a little bit. It's still bad enough that you can still make bets on this team.
They were just bad on if they were better on third down, they would have been in this game because Tampa wasn't doing a lot on offense.
Right.
They were just pretty poor on third down. 6 of 14 in the end of it. I think if they could have converted a couple more of those and maybe gotten a score during the first 3 quarters, they would have been in this game.
Give me your gut reaction. Tampa live still should be the favorites for the NFC title.
I have bets on them. I bet them to win the NFC and the Super Bowl.
Okay,
we
agree there.
I like them.
What's
to
the
get
best
healthy.
price you got for NFC?
5-1.
5.
I think it was like 5 and 10 roughly are my average numbers of what I bet.
That's good. Okay,
you have to look.
Cool.
Kind of spread that out a little.
Cool.
The next
We're on
one
the same
would
page
be
there. We're pulling for the Bucs.
Another team that got bet pretty heavily. Might have been the right side too. Was the Washington Commanders, and that was ugly.
I think they were the right side.
I really think
that final sequence in the red zone was like, oh, okay, they're gonna actually get this, and then Wentz throws the pick. Like, talk about a Wentzian ending. Like that was. I mean, was that his last start as a Commander? Does he lose command? Does he lose command after that performance?
There's been rumbles of, hey, we need to move on from this guy. So,
well, they're 1-4.
So what's stopping you now?
Right.
Someone's asking Bengals or Ravens just because that starts soon. We both bet a little Bengals.
What's the current price? I haven't watched that.
You can still get a cheap 3 on the Bengals. I bet a 3 minus 101 a little earlier. I'm fine with that. I wanted a little action. I think they probably went straight up. Mm-hmm. That's my look tonight.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, bad injuries for both teams coming into the game, and Wentz looked lost the week before against a tough pass rush. He looked kind of lost at times again. That was an ugly off. I don't think very highly of either of those teams. And then, it kind of came down to whoever had the ball last was going to throw the back-breaking interception to lose the game. Houston Jets, speaking of ugly ones.
Titans, is that 3 wins now for the Titans? The Titans have 3 wins? Ooh.
I think you're right.
Ugh.
Texans, Jags. Trevor Lawrence threw the ball 47 times. Was not impressed with him today.
No.
Was not impressed with the play calling from the team. I love this team. I really like them. I did not understand what happened today against a really bad team. They did everything they needed to do. They held them to 6 points in the first half, 13 points for the game. Offense just couldn't get it done, couldn't get moving. Wentz threw a couple of bad picks.
Is that a slip of the tongue? You called Lawrence Wentz?
That was a Freudian slip.
That's a Freudian slip if I've ever heard one.
So, and here's the other thing. The Jaguars outgained the Texans 422 to 248.
Oh, don't
scoring 422 yards. Your average NFL team, if they get to 422 yards, should score 24 to 28 points.
What's your conversion right now? Because last year it was like closer to 14. This year it's 16, squarely 16.
I still just use 15 roughly, and then 15. I give it a range because if you use 15, it was 28. So that's why I said 24 to 28. So a team with 422 yards should roughly score 24 to 28 points, but they were 0 for 3 in the red zone, 2 turnovers, no forced turnovers. That's how you lose a game to a bad team. And The Texans had not won a game yet, so that's even worse feeling.
Yeah, I think that takes Lovie Smith off of any chance of getting fired before Matt Rule, because Matt Rule is probably getting fired now.
Yep, right about
right about meow.
Yeah,
yeah, right about meow.
Matt Rule, yeah, he's instead of going to the locker room, he's hey, I have a meeting with a friend in Auburn. I have dinner plans in Auburn, and then I got to head up to Madison as well, and then out to Omaha for the weekend.
He's getting prepped.
Rule might be done after this week. It is. It was. I mean, it was going to be a bad game, but it was bad. Speaking, that's the next one on the docket. Scoreboard probably doesn't. Maybe doesn't even let you know how bad this was. Carolina looks rough off the get-go. The biggest takeaway from here is Joey Bosa got hurt. A groin injury is
Nick Bosa?
Nick Bosa. I never can keep
Not good.
Not good for the Niners. Not good for
I bet
Bosa.
him some DPOI, and that's not looking great. Who is our DPOI now? I mean, Parsons is going to have a tough. He's going to have a
game.
He did, but he's going to have a tough time compiling stats as teams are like, okay, well, 3 hats on him. Someone else beat us. It's like that's where this is going.
Yeah, but I mean, he's
probably going to miss. Is Bosa going to miss 4 weeks? You think?
Yeah, a groin can be like 2 to 6. I feel like it depends how bad it is, and at the same time, and Parsons had 2 sacks and a tackle for loss again today.
Oh, he got a late sack on Allen. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so I mean, he's starting to get the counting stats. He might just be the one who wins it.
Well, I mean that good for him because that's correct. He's by far the best player, defensive player in the NFL. I don't think it's really that close. But
the takeaway is from Patrick McCann here. Wish this one could have been buried in the 1 p.m. window. That is the correct take for that.
It definitely did, and it had the stage to itself for a little while. As you know, there were a couple of late kickoffs, and basically every game ended early. So it kind of had like a good 30 minutes there. That was the only thing on. And you got to see exactly how miserable Carolina is. Although, you know what? If you're a sicko like me, you enjoyed every minute of that. Fuck Baker Mayfield. Fuck the Panthers. It's just absolutely delightful what's going on there.
Arizona backdoors the Eagles, who looked hot out the gate, which is why
backdoors the Eagles.
Yeah,
I do not accept the framing of this at all.
It was 14-0. Here's the thing. I'm just saying, let me finish. I don't care.
Okay. Okay.
Which is why my bet was Eagles team total over first half, because Eagles team total did not hit. Eagles.
What was their team total in the first half?
13.5.
Oh yeah, you got that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's the backdoor. So the Eagles did not cover. The Eagles did not hit their team total. The Eagles are a good team, but at the same time, it was a weird kind of road. You know, is a weird spot, and Arizona for sure was the side. It looked a little dicey at first, but it was kind of always that thing where all they have to do is kind of withstand that first wave crashing over them. The Eagles' second quarter that's been
get back up after you get that first shot on the chin. Get up, and they got up. The Cardinals are weird late. They take a long time to get going. They took their sweet ass time in this game.
That's especially why I like that, because not only the Eagles kind of been a hot first half team, but Cardinals have been a slow starting team. I almost think, that's where I almost think if limits aren't a worry, I think Arizona plus 5.5 was a stupid fucking bet. Well, just because all things considered,
you could have,
Arizona
get in
Arizona
live,
slow starter,
get in live.
Yeah, why wouldn't I just, you know what was a lot less sweaty? Arizona plus 17.
I'm laughing because you're right, because a pregame bet was stupid, because in-game there was a much better number to be had, and ultimately
hindsight Andy says
part of the handicap of betting the Eagles was the backdoor is live, and betting the Cardinals. But part of the handicap of betting the Cardinals was backdoor is live. They're a great late second half fourth quarter team. Basically when the Cardinals are a boom value team. The Cardinals boom value is a real narrative we got to keep in track of, because like when Kyler Murray starts using his legs, which is usually later in the game because he's, I assume, like trying to just protect himself, which makes sense to me. Like, you know, they're more dynamic. Obviously, like this shouldn't even be a thesis. That said, I thought the Cardinals defense did a good job of kind of bottling up plan A for the Eagles and making them work with plan B and C, which were not as effective. And ultimately the Eagles had a nice drive late to get that game-winning field. Well, it was ultimately the game-winning field goal. But like, if you're a really, really good team, you don't like settle for a field goal there, right? Like they were just like, okay, well, we'll do a couple runs that really don't have a chance of scoring a field goal, but we will force Arizona to use their timeouts. Arizona's third timeout ended up being used because of an injury, which was unfortunate for them. But ultimately, like, I didn't really love that as the approach late in the game for my coach of the year, Nick Sirianni. I didn't love that. And if you're that dominant, you're scoring a touchdown there and you're moving on with a little bit more.
Kudos to the Arizona defense, especially in the second half. And then also, you know, just like you said, it's going to keep being a thing where Kyler does get squirrelier with his legs when they're losing. And once we get Nuke back,
this team is going to be bet on.
This team can be a fun team.
Yeah. This is the last week that I think you can bet against them.
Yeah,
because they're playing the Seattle Seahawks.
And I truly don't think it's like Cliff making second half adjustments because I don't really see that. It's more of Kyler Murray working in space, Kyler Murray working out of structure, and making things happen.
That is exactly it, Andy. You fucking nailed it. Literally, the further you go into the game, the less it is the plays Cliff is calling, and the more it is whatever Kyler feels like doing. And that's better than what Cliff is calling. It's much better, in fact.
Some junkyard football, baby.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, last one. Dallas Rams saved my ass there, too, because I said I thought it was going to open Rams -3, and I said I'd probably bet the Rams there. And I said, this is too much, and I probably should bet the Cowboys. Didn't, which hurts my feelings. But at the same time, I couldn't make heads or tails of this game. It was a weird start. So it started weird with the turnovers, the short field. They put them in a hole, but you should be able to, if you truly believe in this offensive system, you should be able to do more than that, especially even against a good. I don't know if Dallas is a good defense. Dallas has good defensive pieces, and the pass rush can certainly get home. We thought that was going to be a concern with the Rams, but at the same time, said I don't hate the Rams tackles, and most of the worry is coming up the gut. I don't know if Dallas is going to be the interior pressure is going to be a big problem. It kind of everything was a problem for the Rams.
Problem. Yeah. The Rams are in a bad spot right now.
They're in a spot of bother.
You're now 2 games back of the Niners and have a head-to-head loss. Is that right?
And we just said we think the Cardinals are improving.
Cardinals are improving. The Seahawks are frisky as shit. Like you're kind of in trouble.
So even if the Seahawks aren't really a true threat to take the division, they're still going to be a pain in the ass to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me your bookmaker prediction for yes/no playoffs when it reopens for the Rams.
Oh,
what would be your no price?
I'd have to look at so many. It's still got to be like 3-1
for no.
Yeah, it's still the
for the Rams.
It's still the NFC, man. I got to think I'm just thinking of like the NFC South and what's going on.
Here's the problem. The Rams offense might be bottom 5. Like, where is the Rams offense rating for you?
Yeah, can you really be in the offensive player of the year discussion if you play for the Rams offense? Like,
no,
get him out of there. That's a Jefferson award.
What was Jefferson's stat line today, just for those keeping track at home?
Just fucking sick is what it was.
That guy is just unbelievable.
Like he is he has been a very, very fun addition. 12 for 154, didn't even score. Couldn't get in the end zone. He got what is it? What do the fantasy players call it? The vultured by Dalvin Cook.
He got vultured by Dalvin Cook.
He got right down to the 2, and Dalvin Cook scored on both of those. So, all right.
Well, you know what? In my heart, he's number 1 for Offensive Player of the Year.
2 announcements. One, it is that the show is brought to you tonight by No House Advantage, where you can play and pick up.
We got to get a banner for them.
Versus other people.
NoHouseAdvantage.com.
Sign up with promo code BetSperts or download the app on your phone like you normally would at the App Store on your Apple or your Android device or BlackBerry if that's still a thing. First deposit match $25. Play in NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR contests. You can win up to $250,000 American dollars, and the dollars start quite strong right now. So check it out at nohouseadvantage.com. Second announcement is Drew's birthday. It is the only, I don't even put, I have like 5 people's birthdays in my phone. It's like,
that's very nice of you.
2 of them are back to back. You and Suma. It was Suma's birthday yesterday.
Yesterday? God damn it, I missed it. Fuck, I gotta.
Yeah, but you were traveling.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's the day before yours.
I know. I should know that. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'm up in wine country where I'm actually in the Lost Coast. So we were in wine country for Friday, Saturday, doing some wine party tastings. Got a nice little Airbnb up here in the Lost Coast. It's a bit foggy right now, but you can see nice little spot. And we got a fire ring. We're gonna get that going. A jacuzzi. Probably gonna use that in a little bit here. We are being rudely interrupted by the sea lions out here, who are just barking like freaking mad. Yeah, they are barking like crazy. I'm sure it's probably mating season. Who the fuck do I know?
Drew did have a request for his birthday.
What was it?
He wanted
was it a Cardinals cover?
Thumbs up in the YouTube chat.
Oh yeah, please, thank you,
guys.
Please thumbs up.
It is his birthday, so all right, let's look at this week.
I'm going to end up with a winning day today, regardless of what happens tonight. But I would love, as a birthday present, an outright win for our Bengals. So please and thank you.
Second half bets were not super great, but wasn't a horrible week. Let's look at this upcoming week, see if there's anything going. We already talked about the Bengals. I said you could bet the Bengals at a reasonable price. It is +3, +100 right now at low vig if you want to take some action, or if you wanted some Ravens, you can still get a -3, -114 at Chris, or -110 at low vig. Monday night, we haven't touched on it all. Raiders, Chiefs. Chiefs are 7-point favorites, total 51.5. Did you make any moves on this one?
I'm probably going to bet the Raiders. I'm hoping it gets to 7.5. You think I'm going to get that number?
It's not leaning that way. It's starting to lean the other way. Or no, it is. No, never mind. I'm looking at Chris now. It is 7 -15 for the Chiefs. So possibility. I would agree with that. The Chiefs.
Raiders are pass.
Well, the Chiefs are just in this spot where you saw what their fuck you offense can do. This is a home game against the dregs of the division with a massive game on deck. This is not where you bring out the fuck you offense. I tend to think this is an under and a Raiders game. I haven't played either yet, but there's a 52 that seems a titch high right now.
What's the team total for the Chiefs? The Chiefiolas?
Oh, probably it would be 30,
right?
Yeah.
Feels like.
But I'm gonna bet that right now.
Under. Yeah, I think that's a good way to have. That's a good way to have a little skin in the game for tomorrow. I like it.
Under 30 on the Chiefs. That's a get in front of a train and hope for the best kind of bet. But here we are.
Done it before. We'll do it again.
Commanders-Bears on Thursday. We're gonna really ramp it up for Thursday Night Football. They called it 2 no-nonsense NFC teams meet. That was the promo they were running during the other.
Are you fucking kidding me? What kind of promo is that? No nonsense? That feels very not correct. These are ultimate nonsense teams.
I put that on the timeline. That was the comment I got from everyone. He's like, I actually predict there'd be a lot of nonsense in this game.
Yes, this is true. This is a game with a high likelihood of nonsense.
Almost certainly plenty of nonsense.
What's the total? What's the total?
It is 40. I don't have a strong read on this at all.
God damn it.
The
I'm going to be a
Commanders-
sicko and taking over.
Well, the thing is, too, if you're betting now, you might be betting on a different quarterback. If Washington doesn't
Heineke?
try to make the change, I don't know. If it's Heineke, I'm kind of leaning towards betting it. I'd bet on Heineke.
All right.
They have some players. We gotta wait to see. I don't think Dotson's coming back from injury.
Dotson not going to be there.
We got Dotson.
No one cares. No one cares. Yeah.
Tampa Bay is a 7.5-point road favorite over Kenny Pickett. Total 43.5. Should Tampa Bay's offense be a 7.5-point favorite over anyone on the road, despite a team getting their teeth kicked in all day long?
Defense is live to pull a shutout here, man.
I don't think this total's high enough.
What's the total?
I think this total is too high. 43.
Is it another 48?
It's 43 and a half. It's close enough where I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
I'm
I
close.
can't believe we got a 48 last week in Tampa, Atlanta. That should have been my biggest bet of the week. I mean, I had double action on it because I doubled down with the Atlanta team total under, but still, fuck, that was a good look.
Yeah.
All right.
I kind of like the under.
Maybe inexplicably we wake up tomorrow and it's 44 and I can bet it under them. But pass for now.
Jacksonville Jaguars are a 1-point road dog heading to Lucas Oil Stadium. Total 41.
First rematch of the season. Colts off extra rest. Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan combined to throw the ball 80 times on Thursday for 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a combined 0 for 6 in the red zone. Just still flummoxed by that Thursday night game. Colts offense is not the prince that was promised. The Jaguars, although looked really, really inept on offense as well today, I guess that's why this total's 41. Although the Colts coming off extra rest, I'm guessing maybe get a little action here at home against everybody just saw the Jags lose to a dog shit team.
Yeah.
Shaq Leonard probably matters in this one.
I'm waiting for injury news on both sides of the ball, and I'm not getting involved here.
I may end up taking a stand on the Jags, final stand sort of deal. Now or never kind of deal.
It's now or never.
I still like Pete. I need to do some soul searching. What the hell happened today with the Jags? I mean, like they were a little bit maybe drinking their own Kool-Aid and, pretty proud of themselves for being feisty out of the gate. And
if Leonard is
looked
announced
past their opponent.
Yeah. If Leonard's announced that he's trending in and JT is announced that he's trending in.
Skip Rooney.
I think it probably moves up and you get a better Jacksonville number. So maybe
but I'm not loving it as much then.
Yeah, there you go.
You're right though. The injury news looks likely to only move this in the direction of Indy. So betting it today makes 0 sense. Let's move on.
The Cleveland Browns are 2.5-point favorites hosting Bailey Zappi? ? This one I'm scared off a little too because I don't know what we're going to have for a quarterback. Total 42. Browns offense was lively at times today, although it's because, like I mentioned, they were against a really, really low-end rush defense, and they're a team that loves to rush. Although Brissett had moments, everyone's going to focus in on him throwing the game away at the end when they were in a spot that they could have just won with a field goal or at least taken the late lead with the field goal. But
for like the second straight week.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't take away, like, he actually kind of had his moments. He had some decent spots there. Chubb was electric. Kareem Hunt was a nice change of pace, and Njoku's turning into a big part of this offense.
You're talking yourself into a Browns position against
I'm trying not
Belichick.
to.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to. This is a revenge game for Belichick, if people don't remember.
Why he because Jacoby Brissett left New England? Is that why?
No, he coached the Browns in like 1993.
Oh, okay. 1983. People remember that? You think he really has an extra grant?
I don't even. Here's the thing: Belichick coached the Browns.
Who are listening to this and not seeing me? Of course, I fucking know Belichick. But yeah, go ahead.
Belichick coached the Browns, but it wasn't this team. It was the old Browns.
Oh, you're right.
It?
He coached the Ravens. You're right. Absolutely. He worked for Art Modell.
Yeah.
He worked for Art Modell.
So, all right. So
who took that team to Baltimore.
Revenge game is off. What do you think of this total?
What is the number?
It is. I think it was 41. I got to flip back to that tab.
Easy over.
Oh, 42. Easy. Excuse me.
Easy
so
over.
Just what I saw from the Browns, I think they'll be able to run again. The Patriots, the Browns run defense, like we just said, was on full display.
Horrific.
I'm betting. I might be betting the over the second straight week on the back of like, hey,
two
running teams can run the ball.
Andy, we're in a new world, man. Like this is what handicapping the NFL is now. It's so different than it was just 2 years ago, where it was literally, who's the quarterback? What scheme is he against? This will work. Yes or no. Now it is literally like this defense can't stop the run, and this team's running scheme is very good, and they're going to score points. Like New England's going to score points on the ground in this game. I can say that is probably the thing I would be most confident about. Like they have a great scheme. Their offensive line is blocking well, and they have a couple of lively guys with pop. New England's going to get theirs, which means 42 is going to sail to the over in my mind. Yep. So that's a fun look over.
I'm happy you agree with this. That I'm betting Browns overs every week on the back of their running. On the back of their running.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're in the upside down, man.
I'm making 44. And a cursory glance, the Jets are a 7
I'm probably 44.5 there, but yeah, go ahead.
Jets are a 7-point dog to the Packers. This Packers defense, very disappointing. Makes sense, I guess, because defense isn't sticky, especially defense based on a few players. But the Packers defense is just, I don't think it's just going to get fixed. It's not the Patriots that have been able to do that with that coaching staff for years and years. I think the Packers defense might just be kind of stinky. And the fact that they don't seem to be figuring out the offensive identity post Devontae Adams is worrisome. Yes. I hate betting the Jets in what should be a sell high spot, but Jets +7 seems like a lot, even on the road. This is another over. And this would be an over if I could trust the Packers.
Earlier in the pod, I qualified this as a good spot for the Jets. This week and next week, the Jets are going up against teams that can't defend the run for shit. So they're going to have a balanced attack, and it's going to work. They're going to score points. They probably win this game. I got to think about this one.
Boy, if the Jets upset them here, talk about the Vikings just sailing.
Oh, my God. Packers losing 2 weeks in a row. The Packers, look at the Packers schedule right now. They're about to go to travel hell. Like this, and I didn't make anything of the two teams that came back from London and played without the bye this week. I mean, they both won by 7 points. They both were weird games. You can tell me that both defenses didn't really show up and didn't bring any physicality, and I would buy that. But if that's the way the Packers show up for this game, then the Jets are winning.
And just real quick news too: when PJ Walker went in for the Panthers, it was with the caveat that it's just mop-up duty. This is not a quarterback change. But the Fantasy Life app just popped up and said that Baker Mayfield's in a walking boot, which that might be a, hey, Baker, do you want to get demoted or do you want to put this boot on and sit out next week because you're injured? Like, it's your choice. Here's the boot. It's like they give you the choice. Put the boot on and walk out there and say you're injured, buddy. You're done. That's
not the Panthers breaking news I expected.
No, we'll get more. I think we'll end up with more breaking news for the Panthers. Okay. Speaking of the Vikings and the NFC North, the Vikings may be heading to Miami for what was looking like a nasty spot where the Miami Dolphins defense is getting a little shredded at times by offenses that can do certain things like the Vikings can, and they might be facing, again, I don't even remember his name,
Skylar Thompson.
The bad
fucking millennials, man. The Skylar, wife, are you kidding me?
It's the wife from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's why I have a bad taste.
That obviously no lineup on the Vikings Dolphins game right now.
We have no idea
because of that, but that could be a soft landing for the Vikings. Niners. 6-point favorites heading to Atlanta.
Whoa. What did you
just
say? 6?
Sting and Greenbrier?
They closed what today against the Panthers?
Was that 6? Where did that? I didn't check where that closed.
I think 6.5. I wasn't paying attention to closing prices today, but I'm assuming it was 6.5.
So you get? Are they factoring in second week on the road, even though it's not? Because you got to think they're staying there, right? Should we just bet this?
Absolutely. As soon as this pod is over, I am unloading on Niners. So I guess maybe is it Nick? Does Nick Bosa move the line a half point? It shouldn't.
No, he shouldn't. The Panthers and the Falcons are not equal.
No, they're not equal.
So this should be. I don't know.
I don't understand this.
I'm not betting this right now.
The Falcons aren't scoring on this defense. No, sir. Not happening.
They were certainly stymied today. And yeah, the San Francisco's defense flying. San Francisco, I feel like, had a couple other injuries that were not Bosa-esque, but there were a couple.
Armstead's probably coming back for this game. It seemed like he was close last week.
Could be.
Okay, well, let's put a pin in it then. I'm shocked that market didn't open 7. Shocked.
Yeah, it's leaning towards 6.5, but not heavily.
Because if they relined Panthers were 6.5 last week. We were looking ahead at 6.5.
Thank you. This was what I was referencing. I knew Ward. Yeah, I didn't know Mosley. I didn't know Mosley was worried about the ACL. I just knew he was out or he got hurt. That's a problem versus
that sucks.
Marcus Mariota. So that was a full ACL, huh?
Eesh. That impacts your Rams yes/no playoffs as well. Seahawks are alive. Cardinals are alive.
All right. Speaking of Cardinals minus 2.5 in Seattle.
Don't after love that line. Seattle money line for me when that opens.
Yeah, it's not going to be up right now because it's early. But if you bet Seattle, you certainly bet them to win.
You know what else you do? You bet them to win.
Probably get plus 120.
And then you can probably bet. True or false? There will be a time in game where you can bet Arizona at plus 120 or better.
Yeah, this is a trading. this is a trading game.
This is a trade game. This is a trading game.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. Seattle for me in this one.
I'm in agreement. I'm going to look at some ways to bet that though. That may just be it. That total is probably a little low. 50.5. I think that should probably be 52.5. Bills, Kansas City's not up right now. Maybe it's up in other places.
What? Because they're playing Monday. Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, it's up at BetOnline. So Bills minus 1.5 in Kansas City, total 53.
If Kansas City wins ugly, that reopens 2.5. If Kansas City wins strongly, that reopens pick. So there's no real reason to bet it one way or the other.
You're not. Yeah, it's not crossing the 3 unless.
What's our total there?
53, which is fair because Kansas. So still not 100% on this Buffalo secondary, and Kansas City. We've seen, like I said, if they bring out fuck you plays, this offense can still get up there. That total's probably right in my mind. I don't know. Do you think it's a lie?
I think it's a little low, maybe.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to go the other way with that. Buffalo.
I don't think either of these defenses match up well at all.
Buffalo's offense. I mean,
both these defenses are a little fucked.
How much Dan? I am loving this camp. I just need Tom Kim to just go through the motions here. This is
you gotta get a little golf winner coming through.
I have an outright on Tom Kim, and he went into the 18th hole, or as we call it, the 72nd hole of the tournament, tied with Patrick Cantlay, who has just crushed this. Patrick Cantlay has really, really screwed up the 18th holes. Tom Kim kind of just needs, I think he might just need par to win the tournament. At 20 years old, congratulations to him, he can get this done. And I bet him outright, so it would be awesome if that would happen for me.
You know who my favorite golfer is?
Who's that?
Tom Kim.
Tom Kim.
That guy fucking rocks. He is awesome.
He's awesome. So fun at the President's Cup.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Everything about him is what you want in sports, really. And he's making golf funner.
He definitely is a lot of fun. So congratulations to him if he can pull this off. I think he just needs to not shoot an 8. He's on the fairway in one. This is like when a pitcher goes out there and pitches great, but then his team bats around and it's like, oh, his arm got cold. Like Tom Kim hit his tee shot like 10 minutes ago because he's waiting for freaking Cantlay to not knock it on finally. Incredible. Tom Kim is on the green in 2. He has 52 holes, 52 feet to the hole.
Andy, before we wrap, this was a great pod as always. You did an amazing job of carrying us. Thank you for that.
We got Cowboys-Eagles.
What was your? Oh, we do. Oh.
We got a couple more games. Nobody asked me this question anyway.
What was your favorite part of the MLB wildcard weekend?
You know what it was?
Did you know what happened?
My favorite part was blind betting Philly on Friday because Noops got me excited for it.
Philly hit 2-0?
Yes.
2-0?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't bet that.
Incredible.
I just bet Philly
Incredible.
win the round, whatever you want to call it. Philly to win the series.
Here's the funny thing.
Seeing our friend Spoon.
A little pulling the curtain back, right? We have a very, very, very smart group of NBA friends, and we talk NBA handicapping, and it's this time of year it's usually buzzing about what's coming in priors and NBA futures, and it has been heavy MLB, and everybody has been absolutely nuking, like just annihilating the MLB market so far. So congratulations to our NBA friends for killing the MLB market, MLB postseason market.
Matthew Link says, do we have any first touchdown scorers? On the screen there, scrolling underneath your message, Hayden Hurst, 20-1. Demarcus Robinson, 20-1. Ravens defense, special teams, and Bengals defensive special teams. Burrow and a sneaky one on Patrick Ricard at 80-1.
He's the fullback. The fullback.
Love a fullback pick. Real quick, we won't probably touch on Ravens because that line's not going to be up in a lot of places. We'll talk more on Wednesday.
I'm going to cheer for the Cowboys-Eagles. Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, Cowboys-Eagles. Eagles 5.5 hosting the Cowboys. Do you think, because I'm in the camp of it's all bullshit, Dak isn't coming back for like 2 more weeks yet. He can't grip a fucking football. Like, there's no chance he's playing. Yeah.
I mean, if they bring him back, that's like we're shortcutting his exit out of Dallas. This is, you can't do it. You cannot do it for this game.
This is a super important game, but at the same time,
incredibly important game.
Just don't do anything silly.
I effectively have a lot on the table for Philly money line in this game. If Philly loses this game, I'm going to be like kind of fucked in a bunch of things.
Yeah, Sirianni, coach of the year, goes down the tubes.
Because you know who becomes coach of the year? It's fucking Mike McCarthy.
Doing
like, he wins this game.
So that's the thing too. Like, Dable is absolutely in the discussion, but Mike McCarthy goes he's like 4-0 with Cooper Rush. He's kind of there. God damn it! That makes me sick.
It makes me.
My stomach.
It does. It makes me not feel. It makes me not feel good. Really and truly, the fact that he is even. What would be the implied money line at a 5.5 point spread? Is the Cowboys have a 38% chance-ish to win this game?
Yeah, that's rough. That sounds good.
36. The fact that there's a 36% chance that McCarthy flips Sirianni for coach of the year does not feel good. It doesn't feel good.
Femi with the good point. Remember when McCarthy was second in the first coach fired market? Yeah.
That was not that long ago.
Rush.
That was not that long ago.
Cooper Rush.
But that's just the point. Like, that's how you win these awards, is that you defy expectation. Like, that's how it's done. Make no mistake. The coach of the year is defying expectation. That is it. And it's to the good. It's not to the bad, obviously. But if you defy expectation to the good, which is what the Eagles are doing right now, and that gets cinched with a win against the Cowboys, then then we're in good shape. But I'm starting to get nervous. I would rather the Eagles just lost a meaningless game and not a game to the Cowboys here, and kind of just get the undefeated stuff out of the way here. But their schedule is so fucking cake. I think they're gonna. I think this team is going. This team's gonna
nice
compile some dubs. Was that directed to you or me? Because I got nothing.
I don't know.
I mean,
they've drafted well.
Jets, the Jets are healthier right now at the skill everywhere except for tackles. They're like healthier than a lot of other teams. I think and they have a lot of young talent, which means that maybe like things are breaking their way. I mean, I think that like we talked about the Jets-Packers game, like they're alive in that game. In my mind.
Even if Zach Wilson doesn't work out, they've drafted very well over the past couple of years. I think losing. You
want to keep Joe Douglas around?
I think so. I think both New York teams probably found a coach in Saleh and Dable. They took him from quality franchises, and that's how you do things. It isn't just, hey, go get the flavor of the week from Texas Tech and hope that works out. But I think they have their coaches, and I think the Jets have kind of drafted well. All of their picks this year are working out really well. Granted, they had it's hard to miss when you have 2 top 10 picks, but people miss all the time in the top 10, and I think
the Giants got 2 guys in the top 10 that are not contributing this year.
Yeah, I mean, Thibodeau was contributing a little bit today. He's starting. Okay. He was injured to start the season. He, jury's out on him yet. I think he can still be good, but yeah, the Jets really kind of nailed the draft. They had a bunch of capital, and they really capitalized on that.
They capitalized on the capital. Well said.
And here's a good point too about Joe Douglas got 2 picks for the trade.
He does, yeah.
The trade with Seattle is hilarious.
Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, everything about his legacy hangs on correctly evaluating Zach Wilson, though. So
and maybe getting a good groundskeeper in there is what we need for these franchises.
I'll tell you, no, the weird funny kind of underlying story that is going to end up being about a 5-year arc is the quarterback draft class from last year. Like the Lawrence, Wilson, Fields, Mack, Lance, like all of those guys all missing is actually on the table, which seems impossible.
Yeah.
And actually, let me push back on something that Andy said. And I think it was our capstone episode. Andy, remember this? We remember our capstone season preview where we went through everything.
Oh, sure.
And you were like, it wasn't that long ago that somebody on this pod was saying that they were worried about a quarterback drought affecting the quality of play in the NFL. And now here we have all of these.
We can have one bad year. It's just like wine. You can have one bad year and just
one bad year.
Everybody just avoids 2016. Like it's fine.
Of course. Well, you skipped 2015 in Napa. That's because that was the drought year. But yeah, that was the pinnacle of the drought.
I was just
guessing.
Crisis. I have no idea.
You were very close. But no, like fundamentally, like quarterback play kind of sucks, and like that entire class might be a miss, which is fucking could be amazing. I mean, presumably there's going to be a buy low on all those guys at some point, but Lawrence was just crushed me today, and Wilson I don't think ultimately has it. Fields needs a shit ton of help, and Mac Jones isn't even playing, and Trey Lance isn't even playing. Like, this is, I don't know, man. It's crazy. With that, enjoy Sunday Night Football.
Let's go watch this show. And yes, Tom Kim, 25-1 outright. I need to bet my outrights earlier. Ron Kloss got a 30-1. So a couple of us over at Bet Sports Golf cashing in.
Good job, man.
Patrick Cantlay. You pampered fuck.
I am not a Cantlay guy. I am a huge Tom Kim guy, so this makes my day.
Tom Kim guy.
Yeah, big Tom. I'm mostly not a Cantlay guy because I had him in Calcutta for the players, and he didn't make a cut.
Going into the final hole of the tournament, tied